Okay, everybody, we back again for the last two. We got this part 6, and then we're gonna have part 7. That's gonna be it. We're gonna finally get to these to the covenants. But first of all, giving all esteem to the Father of Yahuwah and giving him praise, magnifying his name for his love gift, Yahushua HaMashiach. That's just the way I don't know why I haven't been doing that, but that's the way I was taught from the very beginning by my teacher, Morey Casalaba. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get this going. It's gonna be probably about a 2-hour class. Because we got to get through this. We got to get finished with this. I got a lot of good information for y'all, and we're gonna try to close this thing, wrap this thing up. But there's a couple things I got to clear up real quick. Let's see. That I noticed that, well, my wife, she always, I praise y'all for her because she always points out stuff that I miss. And that's good. Well, that's a real blessing to have a wife that loves Yahuwah. Please believe it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Now, we left off here last time, and I gave you what I thought was supposed to be Ecclesiasticus, the book of Sirach, but it was just Ecclesiasticus, and she pointed that out to me. But let's go back up here for a second. I want to go back up here. Where is that shot we were doing? We're dealing with Adam, and I want to get that straightened out. And that's very important because I missed that, and I was going to try to save it for later, but I need to make sure that these classes are as thorough as I can possibly make them. Right here, we was talking about how man had dominion over everything, which he did. And then I went to Jubilee chapter 3, but I didn't read all the way down to 27. So because what I want to show you was to prove that Adam was the firstborn king, and we know he was the firstborn king. We got that part, but he was a priest as well, priest over the Garden of Eden. And then later on, we get into Hasatan. Because when we get into the covenants, we're going to go through that. We're going to go through, once we get through with the covenants, we're going to show you what at the same time, we're going to try to blend them in to kind of show you what man's duty is. And then we're going to go through Hasatan, the last part of the Elohim. But this Elohim is very important, as you guys should be seeing. You know what I mean? And this name is very, very important. And it's a lot of power in this name. This is why scholars is trying to keep you away from it. And a lot of these paid Mason pastors, they're doing the same thing. They don't want you using this name. I mean, because once you start really getting into this thing, you really give it all that you have, it changes a lot for you, and you're going to see it. And Yahoo is actually going to, I promise you, he's going to make himself known to you. He's going to come to you in a way where you're going to know that it could be nothing else. You know what I'm saying? He's going to he deals with everybody different. He deals with me with dreams sometimes. You know, and my only problem I have is when I don't pay heed to it. But trust me, he's very real. But this is where we're going to go. We're going to go to Jubilee chapter 3. So let me do this here real quick. I could just read it out. I have the book here, but I like y'all to see it. So let's see this here. Let's do this. Let's go. Hopefully I can get to it. I can go right here and get it. And let me make sure I got this. I already got some of this stuff set up. Let's see. And we said we was going to go to Book of Jubilee. Chapter 3. And then verse 27. That's what I've left off. I should have hit that. Let's see. No, this might be the one I want to use. That's not really the one I like to use, but it doesn't matter. Because a lot of times when you get this in a lot of these different books, you're going to see that some of the chapters might change a little bit. Let's see. I still don't have it. This is crazy. Let's see. See, this is what I'm trying to say. Hold on a minute. Let me get out of this here. This is not a good one. I use this one here. Yeah, that's what I'm used to. Let's see. Yeah, here it is right here. This is the verse I'm looking for. But like I say, sometimes when you go and you get to different books, what might be in chapter 3 might be in chapter 4 in that book. You understand? But it's basically going to be the same information. But this is what I wanted to show you right here. This is what I did. I think I stopped up here somewhere. We was talking about how the women's time and as far as cleanliness way back then was already started. And see, that's what you're going to realize, that when you start using a lot of these other pseudepigraphic books, you're going to actually see that a lot of things come up a little bit. A lot of these things was this is where everything started. That's why Genesis means it has a lot of meanings to it, and it's a breakdown on it, and we're going to get to that eventually. But it's just the beginning. So everything from the beginning, the law from the beginning, commandments was here from the very beginning. We've been talking about this the whole time. Then we go into this animal sacrifice, or sacrificing animals for pleasing savor to Yahuwah. It's been here too. Everybody knows the story of Cain and Abel, but they don't really understand what the problem was. But we're going to get to that too. So, but right here, this is what we after. It says, I'm stop right here. And to Adam, he said, because thou hast hearkened to the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten the tree which I commanded thee that thou should not eat thereof, cursed be the ground for thy sake. Thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat thy bread in the sweat of thy face, till thou return to the earth from whence thou was taken. For earth thou art, and unto the earth shalt thou return. So that's just the bottom line. He's not, there's nobody in heaven smiling down looking at you. And he made for them coats of skins, that's very important, and clothed them and sent them forth from the Garden of Eden. And on that day on which Adam went forth from the garden, or you could say the temple, because we're going to show you that later too, stick around, he offered a sweet savor, an offering, frankincense. Now check this out. Now look at what he had. Because when we get to the priesthood, you're going to see some of this stuff, right? Galbanum, stacte, and spices in the morning with the rising of the sun from the day when he covered his shame. So, let me say this too. And on that day was closed the mouth of all beasts, and of cattle, and of birds, and whatever walks, and of whatever moves, so they could no longer speak. Something, ain't it? So you thought when you watch these shows on TV, they got animals talking, that just, it's just, for they had all spoken with one another with one lip. So we see, and with one tongue. So we saw that at one time, this is saying that all the animals were Echad as far as their language. And we're going to show you in this lesson, because like I said, we got 2 more, this one and one more, that's it. All language on the earth, as I showed you earlier, was all Echad. They all spoke the heavenly language, which was Hebrew, right? So that's one of the things that I wanted to show you right there. And then I can see somebody on the new moon of the 4th month, and that's very important, but that's something we'll get into a lot later. Because again, I understand that this is just a class for beginners and people trying to come out of the traps that they've got their foot caught into. Man, it's no big deal, because I was trapped too. But I had to start somewhere, just like y'all start somewhere. So we're gonna stop this right here, and then we're gonna come back here where we were. So I wanted to show you that. Also, let's look at this here, Jasher chapter 7. Now, well, actually, you know what? This is something that you can read. It's just going to go into how the Most High was talking about. Yahoo Elohim was like letting Noah know about eating blood and these types of things, and how he actually was doing the same thing. He was doing sacrifices. All these things before Moses was here. And that's very important to understand, because a lot of times we've been taught that all these things came with Moses. That's Moses' law. That's under Moses. That's no. There was actually an order, which is the Melchizedek order. It was up in the Shamayim, and all these things was passed down to Adam, And again, later on, we're going to see that all these things was passed down to men. It actually stopped with Moshe. He was the last of the Melchizedek order. He was the last priest in that order. So, but like I say, that's a whole nother thing. We're going to get to that eventually. Now, let's go ahead and come back here. But that's a good chapter to read because it has a lot of good information in it. But for the sake of, we got so much to do, I can't get to that. But I wanted to clear this Jubilee up to show you that Adam did some type of sacrifice when he left the garden. Because really, excuse me, sacrifice really at the time before the covenant was made with Israel and the golden calf Apis was that they committed adultery with. Before then, it was sacrifice was just something that has to show friendship. You know what I'm saying? Saying, you know, friendship. Thank you, Father, for all your blessings. Thank you, Father, for your goodness. And that's part of the problem that happened to Cain and Abel. It wasn't the fact that a lot of people say, well, see, Cain brought his offering from the ground. It had nothing to do with that. Cain was that's what his thing was. He tilled the ground. I mean, Abel was a man that had the sheep. But the problem was he did not give his first fruit. He did not give the best of his first fruit. That's the problem. If he'd have did that, then then it would have been accepted. But sin was lying at the door for him. Like I said, we're gonna get to that later. But it's not the fact that he was a man that tilled the ground. All he had to do was bring the best that he had from the work of his hands. That's all he had to do. Because really, when we give Yahuwah our first fruits, and I'm not trying to act like no pastor, you know, trying to suck you, you know, dry out your money. When you give him your first fruits, you know what I'm saying? If you don't go to a church, you know, you want to take that money and you see people that need it. That's what I do. You know, people that need it. You know, I mean, because I don't know if they're lying or not. I don't care if they're lying or not, because first of all, it's not my money. I got the job, or I got my own business because Yahoo is blessing me like that. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, I mean, when they start saying, well, man, I need a hook, I don't even care about that. Here, man, take this money. Go do whatever you're going to do with it, baby. You know what I mean? Because I don't even know if that's a messenger in disguise, as the book said. I could be entertaining a messenger unawares. So, you know, we're supposed to open our hand wide anyway. That's really to your brethren. But the poor, the needy, those that's broke down, you know what I'm saying? You never know why a person is in that position that they're in. But you really shouldn't care, because when you give to them, you give them to Yahuwah. And he already told you, he gonna, like, I forgot how they say that when I was in the Holiness Church, Deacon Sankey, press it down, shake it down. I know where the scripture's at, but he had that thing down pat, because that's who really taught me how to do street ministry and all that. But let's go ahead and keep rolling. I don't want to start talking too much. Let's come down here. Now, this is our last Sirach, the last book, the last book of, it was Ecclesiastics that I read instead of Sirach 1 through 11. But even though it was some still good information, because we got the chance to see how Solomon was blessed with wisdom, right? Because he wasn't trying to kill everybody. He wasn't after money. He wanted wisdom and understanding on how to manage a great people as Israel. So then what did Yahoo do? He went ahead and gave it to him anyway. That's what we got to understand. Just keep the commandments, do the Father's will. All these things are going to be added to you. But the only thing about it is when you start getting these gifts from him, you just can't, it shouldn't be a big deal to you. It shouldn't be a big deal. Because if it comes, he'll give it to you, then he'll take it away just to see how you gonna act. Because it's a material thing. All these things, everything, even us, we all come from the ground and we all going back to the ground. So what? That's what we got to get in our mind. So let's go up here and get this Sirach here. Chapter 1, verse 1 through 11. Let's see. I know I got it up here already. Here it is right here. Ecclesiastes, now, because we was talking about wisdom, and I was showing you how in all these other books that the Ruach HaKodesh, the word Ruach is a feminine noun. But if you've been doing any research coming behind me, checking behind me, because please check behind me. I don't have nothing to hide. Start to see how the only place that she becomes he is in the New Testament with these letters of Paul, that these people got a chance to to do all kind of things with. All wisdom comes from Yahoo, right? Wisdom. Now, all wisdom comes from Yahuwah. She, who is wisdom as well, because we already got done showing you that the Son was wisdom and the Father's wisdom, is with him forever. The sands of the sea, the drops of rain, the days of eternity, who can count them? The height of the sky, the breadth of the earth, the depth of the abyss, who can explore them? Wisdom was created before everything. Prudent understanding subsists from remotest ages. For whom has the root of wisdom ever been uncovered? Her resource of ways, who know them? One only is wise, terrible indeed, seated on his throne. Yahuwah, Ab Yahuwah. It was he who created, inspected, and weighed her up, and then poured her out on all his works, as much to each living creature as he chose, bestowing her on those who love him, right? So we already know that, right? I mean, if you love me, you keep my commandments, and I'm going to send you another comforter, right? The fear of Yahuwah is glory and pride, happiness, and a crown of joyfulness. The fear of Yahuwah gladdens the heart, giving happiness, joy, and long life. And I know this is true, because as long as I've been trying to do this, whenever I do go back home, most of my friends, they sick. Even if they're not in jail or dead, they sick. I mean, my health, there's nothing wrong with me, and we all went to high school together. But these commandments will preserve you, and they'll give you long life. Because guess what? When you keep the commandments, you're not running the streets. You studying, you praying, you doing things that you need to be doing for the Father's will. So you're not going to be abusing your body in a lot of different ways, because most people think that just drinking and alcohol and drugs it's a lot of ways to abuse yourself. Oh, it's a whole lot of ways to abuse yourself. You can abuse yourself with food, you know what I mean? To the point where your health is out of control. You taking all these big bags of pills. But then, when people come to you and say, well, why don't you be a vegetarian? I can't do that. I can't be a vegetarian. Okay, well, or you might have people that's out here addicted to sex. I mean, we all grown people up here. We know these things are true. We have people that's out here addicted to gambling, right? Then they start to get to the point they start taking stuff out of their house. Then it's a problem in the household. It's a lot of stress. Sin causes a lot of stress. For those who fear Yahuwah, at all will end well. On their dying day, they will be blessed. The basis of wisdom is to fear Yahuwah. She was created with the faithful in their mother's womb, right? Because it's talking about wisdom. Wisdom was created with the faithful in their mother's womb. She has made a home in the human race, an age of old foundation, and to their descendants will she faithfully clean. Why? Because you teaching your children these laws. You teaching your children these instructions. You teaching your children the instructions and the will of Yahuwah from the time they can walk. And if you do that, they might go astray, but guess what? The book said they're not going to depart from it. They're going to understand this and they're going to come back. The fullness of wisdom is to fear Yahuwah. She intoxicates them with her fruits. She fills their entire house with treasures and their storerooms with her produce. The crown of wisdom is the fear of Yahuwah. Got to keep that in mind. She makes peace and health and flourish. Yahuwah has seen and assessed her. He has showered down knowledge and intelligence. He has exalted the renown of those who possess her. You're going to get exalted. Whatever you want to do, you're going to get exalted. If you possess her, but the only way you can possess her, you already know this. If you went through this series, you understand this fact. The root of wisdom is to fear Yahuwah. This is the root of wisdom. And her branches are long life. Okay, now they're saying she has branches here. We just got done reading in Proverbs. She is likened like a tree of life to them that lay hold of her. The rage of the wicked cannot put him in the right, for the weight of his rage is his downfall. A patient person puts up with things until the right time comes, but his joy will break out in the end. We can keep going and going, but this book of Sirach, you need to look at this thing. You'll learn a lot from it. All right, so we're going to kill that. Now we're going to get back to, I just wanted to clear those things up because I missed that last time. And like I said, my wife, boy, she be on me. Okay, let's go ahead and get down here, control. All right. All right. So let's keep rolling. I think we stopped. Yeah, we stopped right where I was just at. All right. Now let's get back into this Ruach HaKodesh. Proverbs 9, chapter 1 through 10. Verse 1 through 10. Wisdom has built her house. She has hewn out her 7 pillars. And you can go ahead and read that whole, you can write that down and go back and read that if you want to, right? Let's see. Actually, let's go ahead and read that. I ain't gonna do that. We're gonna get through these last 2 classes, but I want to make sure that we get understanding with this thing. Okay. Proverbs chapter 9, and we're gonna read verse 1 through 10. Proverbs chapter 9, verse 1 through 10. Wisdom has built her house. She has hewn out her 7 pillars. She has killed her beasts. She has mingled her wine. She has also furnished her table. She has sent forth her maidens. She cries upon the highest places of the city. I think we read this, but anyway. Whoso is, well, I've read it so many times. Whoso is simple, right? You're a person that don't have no understanding. You know, you trying to understand this thing. You heard something that somebody said. That's why you up here, evidently. Let him turn and hither. As for him that wanteth understanding, she says to him, come, eat of my bread, and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding, right? People that don't want to keep these commandments, I'm not calling you foolish. That's the way of the foolish. That's the way of the foolish, because when we get to Paul's writings, we're going to break that down so smooth for you. All these little idols that been put in your head about Paul, we're going to bust all that up. We're going to come at it like a jackhammer on concrete. We're going to tear it to pieces, right? He that reproveth a scorner getteth to himself shame, and he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth to himself a blot. So a lot of times, when you try to talk to people, they don't want to. I don't beg nobody to try to get this. My job is to give you the information. It's up to you. That's why I told you I don't care about. I'm not trying to get 1 million hits, 100,000. I could care less about that. If I got one person up here that want to listen, that's where Yahuwah has that person there to listen. That's it. I'm just doing this. This is just my works. And we already learned about works. Mashiach did his. This is just one of the works that he has for me to do. Because whenever I get away from this, I have problems. So I just said, I give up. Like Paul said, I'm a prisoner. I know I'm a prisoner. I don't have no choice, because whenever I step away from him, he starts taking things from me. And the next thing you know, I've been through all kind of things every time I stop this here. Every time. So it's not that I don't love him, because I do. You know what I mean? But sometimes this gets a little frustrating trying to help people that don't want to be helped. But this is what I have to do. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love you. Right? Give a wise man instructions. He gonna go look at this thing. He gonna check this thing out. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will yet be wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. So y'all got to be just, because y'all keep coming back up here getting these things. So y'all trying to, do we know what the word just means? So you trying to see more about these commandments, how to better yourself, how to get stronger keeping the commandments, how to walk the path strong and straight. You understand what I'm saying? The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. We just got done reading that in the book of Sirach. And the knowledge of the holy is understanding. So that's what we got to get. We got to get understanding with this thing, right? Now let's go to John chapter 4 and verse 24. Got to get understanding. That's the whole key to this stuff, is understanding and being humble. Because if you can get understanding and be humble, man, there's so many things you're going to be like saying, like I was, man, I can't believe I was that crazy. But it's okay. You know what I mean? It's all good. We all go through this thing. It's something else. Now, for John, some people say St. John, chapter 4 and verse 24. Elohim is a spirit, and they that worship them, that's what I'm going to say it how it should be, must worship them in spirit and in truth. So when we look at this word, it's G number 1722. In means through, right? So it's, in other words, we're saying he must worship them through the Spirit, right? Or through through the Spirit and in truth. Through the Spirit and through truth. With the Spirit and with truth. You must give yourself wholly to the Spirit and truth. That's the key. Well, another key. Got to give yourself wholly to this thing. You know, you can't let your family members get you caught up out with this stuff, man. And it might be somebody, you know, they might be having your grandmother's anniversary or your great aunt came to town. So what? If she's not trying to keep these commandments, and you know, especially if you don't try to talk to them. For me, I would go just to talk to them about these scriptures, you know. And if they're not trying to listen, then I got to go. I can't. I mean, I'm not gonna miss a feast day. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna forsake. I mean, the book tells me not to forsake not myself from gathering on this Sabbath day. I'm not gonna do that because I don't know about a lot of y'all out there, but I've been immersed in His name, which means I'm under a covenant with this Elohim. So I mean, my foot is gonna be held to the fire. I'm in covenant with them, so I cannot go back. I can't take my hand off the plow because I'm gonna have problems. Because I agreed to say that I give myself wholly to you. No matter what, I'm gonna do what you say. That's what you basically saying. So we're gonna get to that covenant, and I'm gonna make it real plain to you. Because once you went into a covenant, there is no backing down, there is no backing out. And you're going to be tested to see if you're going to be able to keep it. Now, the word wisdom we get is the Hebrew word chakam, right? Or shekam. So we have the chet, right? We have the kaf, and we have the mem. Now, the other place I showed you, the mem looked like a wave, but this is just a different form of the Hebrew. You have the ancient Hebrew, you have the Paleo Hebrew, you have your Babylonian, right? So this is, what does this look like? It looks like some type of fence or some type of gate, right? Because people, I mean, when I come out, I get out my car and I walk behind my gate, I close the gate. So that's like something that separates me from the world. Then this looks like a hand. Like, so it's the word, I mean, it's the letter kaf. So how I learned this one was always, remember, it looked like a hand, so it's like somebody put their hand over their mouth. And then the mem, right, which you can see, because the mem and it's another, you'll see this, and I think later on I'll show you, because it's likened to another letter, like the bed, I think is kind of like this too, except it doesn't have the two crowns or the three crowns on it. But what it means is, the het signifies new creation, new birth, is the number of the Mashiach, right? That's the het. The calf or the kaf symbolizes the son does the will of the Father, right? And the mem is a period of testing, chastisement for purpose. So, and the book does say that man is tested continually. So this is what wisdom gonna do when we get to the next leg or the next series. We're gonna show you some more about this ruach that we haven't showed you now, right? So it's also a place of protection to uncover life, right? That's what wisdom is. It's a place of protection, because she said, I'm a shield and buckler to those that keep the commandments and do the Father's will. So a place of protection, because you're behind this gate, you're behind the chet, right? To uncover life. New creation and eternity, salvation and atonement, probation followed by revival. So like I said, you know, when it comes to this covenant here that some of y'all gonna eventually end up in, you got to remember, you at all times, because you're always going to be tested to see if you're worthy. You are under a covenant. So this has to come first. And I'm just telling you, I'm just keep mentioning that is because of the fact that don't be like me, boy. I had a head like a goat for a lot of years, and I went through a lot of pain, boy. Father was beating me down to the point where I just can't do it no more. I mean, you win, you know what I mean? Like Jeremiah said, you stronger than me. You're stronger than me. I can't beat you. Best thing for me to do is keep you. And then it's all these benefits with being obedient to him, man. Please trust me. It might be a drought or a famine and everybody around you starving. You're going to have plenty of food. I promise you. As we can very well see, wisdom was used to create Aaron's garments and construct the temple. Who is constructing your temple and your garments? Let's go to 1 Corinthians 3:16. Yeah, this stuff is so beautiful. So y'all that's coming up here on a regular, keep coming up here on a regular. Trust me, because one day, if you're not already talking to folks, you're gonna be doing the same. I never thought I would be doing this, right? So 1 Corinthians 3:16 says what? It says, know you not that ye are the temple of Elohim, and that the spirit of Elohim dwelleth in you. Now we've been looking at this day, all their spirits is intermingle, because all of it comes from the Father anyway. But this book, that's how they break it down. The spirit of the Ruach, the spirit of the Son, the spirit of the Father. It all comes from the Father, but they all Echad. So it's the same spirit, but you have the different forms of the spirit. That's it. And they all and all of them have their own entity, their own powers, their own job that they do to make the machine run. All right, let's go back to Exodus now. Let's go back to Exodus chapter 28 and verse 3. All right. Okay, now this is dealing with Aaron's garments, right? And I had started this with the class. That's why I keep thinking I did this already. We're gonna start at verse 1. I'm gonna read a little bit of this, right? It says, and take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother and his sons with him, from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office, right? Even Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, Aaron's sons, right? And thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother, for glory and for beauty. And we're going to find out what this word beauty means later on. And thou shalt speak it to all that are wise-hearted, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, that they may make Aaron's garments to consecrate him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. And these are the garments which they shall make: the breastplate, the ephod, the robe, and a broidered coat, a mitre or mitre, and a girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brothers and his sons, that he may minister to me in the priest's office. So you got to understand that this is so the furniture was made by people that was wise, but they had to be filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, because guess what? The son wanted his house built a certain way. The son wanted his furniture to be in a house to be like he wanted to specify. Then here it is, his caretakers, he wanted to make sure that they was clothed the way he wanted them to be clothed. So no mortal man could do it like that on his own. So he had to be filled with the Spirit to meet the specification. And that's how this Elohim rolls. They have instructions and they want you to follow them. So this is why, again, we're supposed to be keeping the commandments so the Ruach would stay with us, because she's going to make sure your life goes to these specifications, which is going to give you long life, which is going to preserve you, which is going to give you discretion, which on your job is going to give you favor. I mean, it's just, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. You know what I mean? Please trust me. Now watch this here. The Ruach, the Ruach, Ha, this means the Ruach. Psalms number 33:6, by the word of Yahuwah were the heavens made, and all the host of them by the breath of his mouth. Give me wisdom that sitteth by the throne, and reject me not from among thy children. Wait a minute, so she sits by the throne, huh? So we got the Son sitting at the right hand of the Father, and the Ruach HaKodesh got a spot by the throne. Well, she's right in that room too. All right, now let's look at something else here. Now, we have these two letters are the Aleph and the Sheen. The best way to remember the Sheen, sometimes you'll see it just like two buck teeth in the front. But here you still can kind of see the teeth, but then these right here, these all represent flames of fire. So the Aleph Sheen, right? The Aleph, which is a strong ox, and the Sheen, right? Which means the consuming fire. Yahuwah the Father, Yahuwah Elohim the Son, or the consuming fire, El Shaddai, right? We've been learning this stuff now. So if you just popping up here and you running into this, you're gonna be kind of lost. Go back, start at the first lesson. By the time you get up here, you're gonna understand, because everybody that's been up here, they understand this. Aleph Sheen. So let's go look at Deuteronomy chapter 9. Let's Go look at Deuteronomy chapter 9. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna keep on busting up a whole lot of this foolishness that's been put in our heads over the years, right? We're gonna do that because, you know, and I'm telling you, I got a warning for these pastors at the end of this class. And we're gonna show you what Yahuwah has to say to them for teaching you all this garbage and for continually and still continuing to this day to feed you nothing. We're going to even show you how the scriptures say they stick their foot in the dirty water, and which is the water, which is the word. They stick their dirty feet in it and dirty it up, and that's what they give you to drink. This is what this book is saying. Anyway, Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 3. Understand therefore this day that Yahuwah thy Elohim is he which goeth over before thee as a consuming fire, he that shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face. So shalt thou drive them out and destroy them quickly, as Yahuwah has said unto thee. So, and then the other thing is, don't stress out about these about this name, as far as, you know, when you read and trying to get understand how to say, when to say, whatever, Elohim, Yahuwah, Ab Yahuwah. The more you keep reading, the more you keep practicing, it's gonna come to you. Please believe me, because sometimes the way these scribes have it, they'll have it so it's so confusing. You have to read down the whole chapter, because then all of a sudden the down in the bottom is going to show you exactly who it is, and I'm going to show you that later on too. But this is their plan. It's just sad. But Yahuwah said he got a real special place for these pastors that continue to keep these people in bondage, because they'll tell you that the commandments is bondage. You want to go back to bondage? Nah, partner. You got me in bondage with this foolishness. And you're trying to kill me. You're trying to send me to the lake of fire. Oh, God would never. Why would he want to burn you? Why would he? Man, go sit down somewhere. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 14 through 17. Now watch this. Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am understanding. I have strength. By me kings reign and princes decree justice. Right? Let's go up here. Let's do this here. Let's go back up. Let's go. Let's start at verse 7. Proverbs 8 and verse 7, right? Because I mean, we went up to verse 2. It's going to say, she standeth in the top of the high places by the way, in the places of the path. She cries at the gates, at the entry of the city. I'm gonna keep reading. At the coming and at the doors. Until you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. Oh, you simple, understand wisdom. And ye fools, be you of an understanding mind. Herefore I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. For my mouth shall speak truth. What is truth? We know truth is the instructions, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. We know what righteousness is. They're instructions. There is nothing forward or perverse in them. They are all plain to him that understands, and right to them that find knowledge. So this stuff right now, if it wasn't plain to you before and you went through this and you did your due diligence, oh, it's plain to you now, right? Receive my instruction and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. Don't worry about that stuff, because I guess what? I'm going to make sure all your needs is met anyway. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of witty inventions. Right? So how you think these men come up with this stuff? They be sleep at night, Ruach come to them and give it to them. Now, you might say, well, what about he might be wicked? Okay, but Yah always has a plan. His will gonna be carried out no matter what. If it's you, if it's me, if it's somebody else, even House of Time, his will be carried out. You got to understand that. His will be carried out. Now watch this here. Let's see, what was I at, y'all? Oh, I wisdom deal with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. The fear of Yahuwah is to hate evil. We know what evil is. Evil and wickedness is iniquity. And we know when we look those words up before, that means that you're not keeping the instructions. Pride and arrogance and the evil way and the forward mouth do I hate. Counsel is mine and sound wisdom. I am understanding. I have strength. By me, kings reign and princes decree justice. So by me, princes rule and nobles even, all the judges of the earth. So, when you see these people getting elected, it ain't because you voting for them. It's already been preordained because Yahuwah has his plan that's going to get finished. The Father is. My riches and honor are with me, yea, durable riches and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, yea, than fine gold, and my revenue than choice silver. I lead in the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of judgment, that I may cause those that love me to inherit substance, and I will fill their treasures. Yahuwah possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. So she's been here from the very beginning too. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. When there was no death, I was brought forth. I was brought forth. When there was no fountains abounding with water. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he gave to the sea his decree that the waters should not pass his commandment. Wait a minute. You mean to say even the sea got a decree? So that's why the wave, it's the moon that causes the tide to come in. No. It's Yahuwah. But guess what? He gave it. The moon and the water is working in conjunction. But guess what? He gave a decree to the sea how far it can come and how far it can't go. So when it's a tsunami, guess what? You're going to learn later on. He done sent one of those evil malaks, one of those evil messengers to cause it to do that. Because the sea is not going to break the commandment on its own. So even the sea has a decree. That's something to think about. But then you don't need to keep these commandments. Come on, man. Then I was by him as one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him. Right? Jump down to verse 9. Rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth, and my delights were with the Son of Man. Now therefore hearken unto me, O you children. What children? Children of Israel. For blessed are they that keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and refuse it not. This is what we have to understand. When you hear these instructions, don't refuse it. Blessed is the man that hears me, watching daily at my gate. So when they be like, I'm blessed and highly favored. Okay, if you ain't keep these commandments, you're not really blessed and highly favored. And please don't get it twisted. Hasatan gives thanks to people all the time that worship him, whether they know it or not. Right? He tried to Mashiach like that, didn't he? In Matthew chapter, chapter 4? All these things I will give to you if you bow down to me. And a lot of us up here know these people is out here selling their souls, drinking blood, having sex with these children and all these things to up their powers and up their riches. Only sad thing about it is with Hasatan, it might not last long. After 3 or 4 years of you having a good time, now you broke, you homeless and all these. We see it all the time. Waiting at the posts of my doors. So you're supposed to be looking for her. For whoso findeth me findeth life and shall obtain favor of Yahuwah. But, or we know the word favor just means grace. Look it up. Yeah, by now, y'all should know how to use this blue letter Bible. So you want to obtain grace from Yahuwah? Find her. But he that sinneth against me wrong of his own soul. All that hate me love death. So best believe, you don't want to keep these instructions. You don't want to get to know this Ruach, man, you love death. Now, let's look at this. So we got this out the way. We know we're looking for this kingdom. That's what this whole thing is about. I mean, when we put all this stuff together, we trying to get to the kingdom and we trying to make his name one, right? As we've been learning. So Yahuwah, he represents power, air, water, and he gives life. Yahuwah Elohim, the Son, represents fire, right? They both represent fire, but he is the consuming fire, which also the Ruach HaKodesh is a consuming fire, because he said, first John the Baptist told you, he that comes after me is gonna set you on fire. Then we know that he told you that I'm gonna give you the Ruach HaKodesh and hit you with the fire. So from the Ruach HaKodesh and all of them together, the instructions come to man, right? And all you have to do, as we just got done reading, in Proverbs chapter 9 is be wise, obey, and don't refuse it. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians. That's all you got to do is be wise and don't refuse this information and start looking at this thing and start walking in the way you're supposed to walk. As we know now is what? Live. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, let's hit the verse 13 through 19. Every man's work shall be made manifest. So you ain't out here doing no works. Don't get caught up so much in the knowledge. Knowledge is good. Understanding is good. That's all we've been reading about this right now, this afternoon, this evening. But guess what? You got work that you got to do. For the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by what? By fire. And the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. If any man's work abide which he has built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. So if all these things you out here doing, you know what I mean? You doing the things, you doing the Father's will, you out here doing these other things, that's your reasonable service, you know what I mean? As far as, because when Paul says your reasonable service, he's talking about how you offer yourself up as a living sacrifice. Okay, we got that. But guess what? If you feed somebody, that take away a multitude of sin. You help the poor, that take away a multitude of sin. So what you trying to do, if you offer putting yourself up on this altar, you trying to make sure that you the same way that the lamb or the goat or the bull had to be, or one of these pigeons, without spot and without blemish. So you want to be doing these works. If any man work abide which he hath built thereon, he shall receive a reward. But if any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. Know you not that you are the temple of the Elohim, and that the spirit of Elohim dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of Elohim, him shall Elohim destroy, for the temple of Elohim is holy, which temple you are. Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seems to be wise in this world, let him become a fool that he may be wise, right? I mean, so when you go and listen to these guys with all these philosophies, it don't mean nothing. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness to Elohim. For it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. And again, Yahuwah knoweth the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain. Therefore, let no man glory in men. So stop worrying about these pastors. They can't save you. Well, pastor gave a good sermon today. Well, okay, what did you learn? Like one of my teachers just say, if I went outside the church with a 45 and stood out there and asked whoever couldn't tell me what they learned today, I'd blow their head off. He said, I'd kill half the church. And I really believe that. Therefore, let no man glory in man, for all things are yours, right? So who we got to glory in? We have to glory in the Mashiach and the Father, right? Look at verse 23. And you are Christ, and Christ is the Elohim. He belongs to it. This is what we're trying to show you. So these are the things we have to do. But I told y'all that before. Don't get caught up in these men. Man, these men cannot save you. If they're not teaching you this, they out for themselves anyway. Right? Now let's keep going. The fire and the Elohim. Deuteronomy 4:24 says, for the Yahuwah thy Elohim, for Yahuwah thy Elohim is a consuming fire, even a jealous Elohim. Is not my word like as a fire, says Yahuwah, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces, right? Because that's what happens to you when you start hearing this thing. Your emotions, boy, some people go through, I went through a lot of things too. Because now all this stuff I've been learning is lies. And you, boy, it's like somebody just took a hammer and bust you over the head and just broke you like a glass. The son of Yahuwah, who has eyes like a flame of fire, and his feet are like burnished bronze. Isaiah 4:4 says, when Yahuwah has washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and purged the bloodshed of Jerusalem from her midst, by the spirit of judgment and the spirit of burning. And we know again, it's the word here, spirit is H number 7306. It's the breath, the burning is the ruach, right? Fire and consume. And so you have the breath, which is the ruach, the burning, and you have the fire to consume. We know the consumer, we know who the consumer is. We just got that, we've been seeing that this whole time, and we know that's Yahuwah Elohim, the Son. Matthew 3:11. This is why the Mashiach told you, I indeed baptize. This is why John the Baptist said this to you. Matthew 3:11. I indeed baptize you with water unto repentance. But he that cometh after me is mightier than I, whose shoe I am not worthy to bear. He shall baptize you with the Ruach HaKodesh and with fire. So we're seeing that this fire is very important. The fire, we see they all are full of this fire. And we see that what does fire do? It cleanses, it purifies. That's why you getting baptized with the Ruach HaKodesh with fire, because the fire that he put inside you is going to be this word. And this word going to start burning that flesh that you wrapped in. And it's either two things you can do. You can step away from it like she warned you not to do and extinguish the fire and be lost forever. Or you can go ahead and let this fire burn you and turn you and cleanse you and start cleansing your mind, showing you how to walk in this thing. Because that's what the word does. Let's go to Acts chapter 2 now. I'm not trying to move too fast, but again, I want to get through this here so I can kind of, because we got other stuff we want to get to. And I know it's been a long series, but I still want to make sure that I give y'all everything. For two reasons. Number one is because I want to teach y'all the way that I was taught. And as a matter of fact, a little different, because a lot of these, I got a lot of good information. I've been blessed to have some really good teachers, from Elder Yahoo way back in the day. Even Brother Bowie, I learned a lot from him too. I don't agree with a lot of the things that he does, but so what? I learned how to pick up this Bible and read from that brother. I was already reading, but with him, that's his biggest thing. Pick up this book and read. Cut that TV off. Don't worry about what's going on. Get up early in the morning when everything is quiet, because them kids, now the kids up. You got to get them breakfast. You got to go ahead and get them off to school. Then your husband, he running around. Or your wife, you got to try to help her do whatever. And all this stuff, then you get to work. Now you working. Who knows what kind of job that you on, right? Because or if you got your own business, you're going through that. You stressed out. You all day long. Now you're trying to get through traffic to get home, or you're on a motor trying to get home. You're on a train. It's taking you all day. You're trying to read I used to read on the train when I used to ride the train all the time, but then people are doing all kind of stuff around you, because you kind of got to be aware of what's going on. Now you get home. Boom, you get home. Now you got to pick up the kids. All these things, and you got to eat. And then when you look at it, the way this whole system is designed, before you know it, you ain't got but an hour if you watch the news or whatever else you do. Now you got to go ahead and get the kids ready for bed. You got to get all your stuff laid out for tomorrow. All these things, now you lay down. Now what you done did all day? When have you had time to pick up this book? Because that's how this thing is designed. It's designed to shut you down and have you worrying about the cares of this life instead of this book and the Father's business. So what you got to do is, this is what I do, you get up. If I know I got to be to work at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting up at 3 a.m. And it got to the point where I ain't have to even worry no more, because the spirit, wake up. I'm waking up, looking around. Okay, it's 2:59. It's 3 o'clock. Come down to my laboratory, get into if I'm going to go over my Hebrew, whatever I'm doing, if I'm putting a lesson together for y'all, that's what I'm doing. Go ahead and make my breakfast while I'm doing that. Boom, eat, kiss my wife. I see you, baby. Pray that y'all let me get home safe while I'm out here driving these trucks. Boom, head to work. It's a wrap. Now, when I get home, I'm going to make some more time for it, because that's just what I do. But guess what? I've already gave my sacrifice of time to him before all the craziness happened. Okay, Acts chapter 2, verse 3 through 4. Now, this is on the day of Pentecost. And for years, we can go to Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 16 to see this, about this Pentecost, because they was tarrying for the Holy Ghost. No, they wasn't tarrying for the Holy Ghost. They was there on the day of the Pentecost. It's a feast day. They was being obedient, keeping the feast. Was fully come. They were all with one accord in one place. See, they all Echad right here, because they follow the commandments. And the commandments, or the feast, and according to the feast, the feast days when we supposed to gather, they gathered like they supposed to. And suddenly there came a sound from the Shamayim as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house. Then we just got this, we just got them seeing up here. Look up the spirit Ruach 87306 is breath, and it's also going to let you know that it's wind. Then we remember the last class we read about how the host, when he told David, when you hear the sound of the wind and marching in the tops of the trees, it's all here, right? Fill the house where they were sitting, right? So we can go to Psalms 104 and 30, Ezekiel 3 and 1. I mean, and there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as a fire, and it sat upon each of them, right? Because you're going to see the tongues in Ezekiel 2 and 9. I mean, it's just, there's nothing new. Everything, this all the things that you read here, once you understand what's going on, you're going to be able to find it somewhere else in this book. Because that's how it was set up, because there was no New Testament. These are letters and account of what happened that was given to other churches so that they can get their mind right. And all they keep saying, as it was written, as it was written, as it was written. They always had to refer back to the Old Testament, because that's all it was. Now let's go look at the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, and we're going to read 22 through 30. I'm just trying to get you to see this thing here. So let's do this here. Let's get out of here. Yeah. Let's get a new one here. All right. Let me see. Control. Yeah, I'm just going to show you this stuff, because once you start getting into this thing like this, it ain't no mystery no more. You know, and please believe me, I want everybody to get this thing that can possibly get it. But like I said, you can't refuse it. You got to go look for it. Now, I could have went to this Septuagint, but I'm not. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter, what did I say, 7? 7. And I said 22 through 30, I think. Okay, we'll go here. See, now, this is another thing. The King James Bible Online, for some reason, it'll pull up almost a lot of these books. It'll pull a lot of them up. See, look at that. You got First Ezra, Second Ezra, Tobit, Judith, Wisdom of Solomon, Ecclesiasticus. You can come here and get the book of Sirach, Baruch, Letter of Jeremiah, Prayer of Azariah, Susanna, Bell the Dragon, Prayer of Manasseh, First and Second Maccabees. I mean, it's really no excuse for that. Like I say, if you don't have the information, you just hang around here. We gonna make sure, I'm gonna show you all the ways that you can get if you ain't got no money. And don't worry about not having no money, because I mean, I've been there. But the more I started following these instructions, stuff just started falling in my lap. Craziness. I remember one time I was starting this one job, and I was like, man, do I really want to? But I got to do what I got to do. I got a family to take care of. That's what a man's supposed to do, right? He's supposed to be able to pay every bill in the house. I don't depend on my wife to pay nothing. I mean, we work as a team, but if she just didn't want to, I know it's my responsibility. But all of a sudden, I'm finna start the job in 2 days, and I get a phone call. Oh yeah, I seen your application. Well, you want to come over here and do this? Well, what's going? Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, I do that. It happens all the time. So I said, wisdom of Solomon. So don't worry if you unemployed. I'm talking to these brothers, because we already know the sisters. They doing some. The majority of y'all, I know y'all doing fine, because number one, Yahoo said he was gonna set it up that way, and number two, these Gentiles, they following plan without even knowing it, because y'all going to school. I mean, you know, the man is being destroyed, and a lot of times these sisters, once they get to a certain level of education and power and money, you know, well, you know, you can't. I mean, you look good, and you know, yeah, you might keep the commandments, but I can't talk to you because you ain't got nothing. But I do got something, girl. I got treasure. I got stuff but I ain't trying to hear that. It is what it is. Let's go down to verse 22. Sisters, y'all gotta let that stuff go. All right, you got a man that's trying. I mean, I ain't talking about somebody sitting around smoking blunts, playing PlayStation all day. I'm talking about a man that's made some mistakes in his life. He trying to get on his feet. He out here doing something, whether he digging ditches, cutting grass, sweeping out gutters, whatever. He's getting up trying to do this. He protecting you, and he's teaching you this book. Yeah, he don't even know what you got. Okay, for wisdom, which is the work of all things, has taught me. For in her, this one too is an understanding, spirit, holy, one only, manifold, subtle, lively, clear, undefiled, plain, not subject to hurt, loving the thing that is good, quick, which cannot be letting, ready to do good, kind to man, steadfast, sure, free from care. Why should she care? Because she part of Elohim, having all power, overseeing all things, and going through all understanding. She's pure and most subtle of spirits. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. For she is the breath of the power of Elohim, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Capital A. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her. She ain't finna have it. So you ain't doing right, she gonna leave you. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light. The everlasting light. We got to remember that. She is the brightness of this everlasting light. The unspotted mirror of the power of Elohim. So she reflects the Elohim. We're going to show you somebody else reflects the Elohim and the image of his goodness. And being but one, she can do all things and remaineth in herself. She maketh all things new, and in all ages entering into holy souls. That's what she does. You set apart, because we know the word holy means set apart, right? You set apart, she gonna enter into your body. And that's how she gonna guide you and lead you. Like, not nobody slapping their hand on your head and you gonna get that. There's nothing wrong with that. But actually, that's supposed to be between you and the Father while you in your closet. Not out in the open that people don't understand what you're saying and ain't nobody to interpret. That's what Paul told you. She maketh them friends of Elohim and prophets. You want to be Elohim, the friend of the Elohim? You follow these instructions. For Elohim loved none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. So he don't love everybody. He loves those that dwell with wisdom. For she is more beautiful than the sun, and above all, the order of stars. Being compared with the light, she is found before it. For all this cometh night, but vice shall not prevail against wisdom. So you ain't got to be afraid of this stuff here. Now let's keep moving. We're going to keep on moving, baby. I'm hoping y'all seeing this now. And I'm going to actually put my email address on the bottom, because I told you, I always forget when I start getting into this stuff, because I get all geeked up and excited. But I love this stuff. So I'm going to put that down there. I told y'all, those that want some extra lessons, some paper lessons, I can email them to you. I got some good books that's on the computer. I already downloaded years ago that I can send to you. A lot of y'all need to go up there on the YouTube channel, and there's a thing up there called the what is it called? So like it's a series of them. I got them set by themselves. Let me see. I can't think of it. Hold on. I'll tell you what it is. I need to go up there and listen to those. They're gonna help you out a whole lot. Let's see. Just in case you don't already, you ain't never. Some of y'all might already looked at some of this stuff, because I know everybody in this thing is not brand new. Let's see. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna tell you the name of it right now. Let's see. Videos. Play this. The fossilized customs. There's 8 videos up there. I urge you, please go listen to that. All right. So we already got these out the way. Let's go to the next board. All right, because we steady looking at all these. Everything dealing with them is fire, right? Bless the Elohim, O my soul. O Yahuwah, my Elohim, thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty. Who covered thyself or themselves with light as with a garment, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of their chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. Wait, the wind got wings? Who maketh his Malachim spirits, his ministers of flame and fire. So they full of fire too. So I guess they got to cut that fire off whenever they visit somebody and they actually see him. That's Psalms 104, 1-4. And Hebrews, we can always cross-reference that with Hebrews 1-7, because we like to do that. Now let's go look at Daniel chapter 4. Show y'all something real quick. Daniel chapter 4. Now, what we're going to look at here in Daniel chapter 4, I just want to show y'all something else in case y'all might have missed this. I'm going to say it again because I know that's one of them books that some people have problems trying to find. Daniel chapter 4. Give y'all a few more minutes to get to it. I'm still, okay. I'm trying to do two things at one time. Daniel chapter 4. Let's look at Daniel chapter 4 and verse 2. Now, let's look at this. I thought it good to show the signs and wonders that the high Elohim, now you see how they switch it up in Daniel, has wrought toward me. All right, let's go jump down to verse 13. I saw in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher, and a holy one came down from the Shamayim. Okay. He cried aloud and said, thus hew down the tree and cut off the branches. Give me 1 second. Hold on 1 minute, y'all. Sorry. Okay. Here we go. I'm sorry about that. Verse 13 through 18. Now let's watch this. And I saw in a vision of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and a holy one came down from the Shamayim. So the watchers are holy. He cried aloud and said, thus, hew down the tree and cut off his branches, shake off his leaves and scatter his fruit, lest the beast get away from under it and the fowls from his branches. Now, this is a whole nother thing about Nebuchadnezzar. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his root in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of the heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the grass of the earth. Let his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones. Who is that? Holy ones is the Elohim. So the watchers is given a decree that came from the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High, now they calling him the Most High here, although over here it was something back here, what was they calling him? They was calling him the High God. See, that's what I'm trying to get y'all to see. These crazy scribes, right? This dream I, King Nebuchadnezzar, have seen. Now those of Belteshazzar declare the interpretation thereof, for as much as all the wise men of my kingdom are not able to make known unto me the interpretation, but thou art able, for the spirit of the holy, wait a minute, the spirit of, now your book says the spirit of the holy gods is in thee. Wait a minute, how could you have the spirit of the holy gods, plural? Because they all are God. That's why I picked this here, just to show y'all this. Let's jump down to 24 and 25. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which is come upon my sovereign, the king, that they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, right? And they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and giveth it to whosoever he will. We just got done telling you that. He the one that calls the shots. You can vote all you want. That ain't gonna change nothing. But I just wanted you to see how he was saying that they shall wet thee. They shall make thee to eat grass. Who is the they? The they is the Elohim. Back over here in verse 18, the spirit of the holy gods, or the spirit of the holy Elohim. Let's keep moving. Now let's look at this. Exodus chapter 13 and 21. And the Elohim went before them by day in a pillar of the cloud to lead them by the way, and by night in the pillar of fire. Go by day and night. Exodus 13 and 21. Now, I can show you in the book of Sirach, where it actually says that the Ruach HaKodesh was the fire that went before them, right? And then other places we can look at in this book, it's going to tell you that he said that the Elohim said he was peeping at you, or they were peeping at you through the fire. They was watching you. It's all in this book. For the sake of time, we can't hit them all because it's been a long, long road. The messenger appeared to Moshe in the burning bush. We know that was a Mashiach, right? And Exodus chapter 3, verse 2, and then 14 through 15, you can coincide that with John 8 and 58. Let's see that. Because we already went through that in Exodus, right? Let me see something here real quick. I'm just trying to give y'all some understanding here. Let's see. Trying to look at that real quick. Yeah. If we already see that the messenger was there, and we're gonna show you later on in this lesson who the messenger is. Gonna give you another thing, another example of the messenger, right? Straight out of the Q Bible when we do it side by side. But in John 8 and 58, that's why he said, Yahushua said it to them, verily, verily, I say it to you, before Abraham was, I am. It's right there, right? And then we could also go to Exodus chapter 3. Well, it's right there, Exodus 3 and 14. Now let's keep moving. Moshe the humble. And it was at that time the spirit of, now this is out of Jasher, the book of Jasher, page 68. And it was at that time the spirit of Elohim was upon Miriam, the daughter of Amram, the sister of Aaron. And she went forth and prophesied about the house, saying, behold, a son will be born unto us from my father and mother this time, and he will save Israel from the hands of Egypt. And when Amram heard the words of his daughter, he went and took his wife back to the house, after he had driven her away at the time when Pharaoh ordered every male child of the house of Jacob to be thrown in the water. And Amram took Jochebed, his wife, 3 years after he had driven her away, and he came to her, and she conceived. And at the end of 7 months from her conception, she brought forth a son, and the whole house was filled with great light. Wait a minute. As of the light of the sun and the moon at the time of their shining. That wasn't nobody. Moses was already on fire way. This brother was preordained for this. Right? Now let's go back to Jubilee chapter 2. Just want to show y'all some of this stuff. Jubilee. I gotta write it down because my mind ain't like it used to be. I be done forgot by the time, but it's amazing. Some stuff I can't remember, but when it comes to this book, it's amazing. That's all I can say. Let's escape this thing. I can take you all around the world with this, but anything else is 50-50. Let's see. Okay, let's go back up here. Get that out of there. Get that out of there. All right. Book of Jubilee. And what did I say? Chapter 2. All right. 1 through 2. And the messenger of the presence spake unto Moses according to the word of Yahuwah, saying, write the complete history of the creation. Right? So this is a messenger, right? Coming to him, telling him how he's supposed to write the history of the creation. How in 6 days, right? Yahuwah Elohim finished all his works and all that he created, and kept Sabbath on the 7th day, and hallowed it for all ages, and appointed it as a sign for all his works. Now, you could say in 6 days the Elohim, you won't be wrong, finished all their work. For on the first day, the Elohim created the heavens, which are above, and the earth and the waters and all the spirits which serve before him. So this is when all these things was made. On the first day, he created the heavens, which are above, and the earth and the waters, and all the spirits which serve before him. The messengers of the presence and the messengers of sanctification, and the messengers of the spirit of fire, and the messengers of the spirit of the winds, and the messengers of the spirits of the clouds, and of darkness, and of snow, and of hail, and of hoar frost. I can show you some of this stuff in the 66. And you definitely go to Enoch and he'll break it all the way down for you. And the messengers of the voices and of the thunder and of the lightning and the messengers of the spirits of cold and of heat and of winter and of spring and of autumn and of summer and all the spirits of his creatures which are in the heavens and on the earth. He created, or you could say they created, the abyss and the darkness, eventide at night, and the light dawn of day, which they had prepared in the knowledge of their heart. And thereupon, let's see, let me jump down to verse 19. I ain't want to get too far into that because I'm going to use that for something else. And he said unto us, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among the peoples. You got to understand this, y'all, Israel. I mean, and these shall keep the Sabbath day, and I will sanctify them unto myself as my people and will bless them. And I have sanctified the Sabbath day and do sanctify it unto myself. Oh, okay. So not only he got to say, now he got to set apart for you, he got to set apart for himself. That's why it's very important. Even so will I bless them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim. I have chosen the seed of Jacob from amongst all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son. That's the other thing. That's why we got these problems. I have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever. And I will teach them the Sabbath day, that they may keep the Sabbath thereupon from all work. So I'm not going to go any further because, like I said again, we're gonna get into this later. But you got to understand this, Jacob. That's why you keep having these problems, because, like, I mean, you won't take heed. Ruach just got done telling you, do not reject this, do not refuse this, but y'all still do. And then you wonder now, here goes some Chinese people, they got beat up for about a month. And then they start crying and rallying. And within 1 week after they rallied, the bill got passed in Congress. You do something to one of them, you go into prison. You've been marching for far as I know. I mean, I'm born in in the 60s. Here it is. I ain't seen no bill get passed for you because you steady getting shot. They just shot somebody else in North Carolina yesterday. Man, y'all, you can't see this? Man, y'all want to be blind. That's all I can say. Folk that anybody can come here and get more justice than you. And you sitting up, still don't even understand what's going on. Probably don't even care. But now let me show you this here. Let's keep rolling. Exodus 34, 32 through 35. Now this is, we're gonna go there too. I don't see how come y'all don't understand this. How come ain't nobody out here marching talking about how could these other people get rescued? I mean, they can get protection, but we can't. Man, and that boy in North Carolina, he might have been, he probably was a dope boy, because they said they had a dope warrant for him. I mean, who knows? But guess what? They had a gang of jokers on the back of the car, and they rode up on that man. He tried to get away, and they killed him. Keep telling you, I stopped trying to run from these cops, man. You done did what you did. You was out there balling. You got your brand new BMW. You had a good time with the ladies and taking trips and stuff off the sickness of your people. So, I mean, being as Elohim causes all things, maybe, I mean, I know what this book says. So, I mean, y'all got to understand, he's the one that's causing these people to do this stuff. Now, he did say that some of this punishment that they went above and beyond what they supposed to, he's going to deal with them for that. But when you're not keeping these commandments and you, like the Ruach just told you, you refuse to do this, and you're going to get what you're going to get. It's just that simple. Exodus 34, and I know that sounds cruel, and oh, Saul, man, that's deep, man. You should be talking. Man, I'm just telling you what this book said. You do what you want with it. But you see, ain't nobody came to save you. You see, they steady killing you and doing all kind of stuff to you and discrimination and all these other things. You steady talking about they're racist. Yeah, there's some racist folk out here, but there's some racist black folks too. They're racist against their own people. That's why they kill each other every night. That's why they selling them drugs, right? That's why they got these sisters walking up and down the street selling their body, man. Nobody trying to hear all that. Not at all. Our people is more racist against each other than anybody else. Exodus 34 and verse 32. Hopefully you there by now. Okay, now let's watch this here. I'm start up at verse 31. And Moshe returned to Yahoo and said, "Oh, this people have sinned a great sin and have made them gods of gold. Yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sin and if not blot me, I pray thee out of thy book which thou hast written." And Yahweh said unto Moses, "Whosoever hath sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book." And Yahweh said unto Moses, "Whoever shall sin against me, him shall I blot out of my book." And but you can find that book. It talks about the books in Revelation chapter 20. "Therefore now go, lead the people into the place of which I have spoken unto thee. Behold, my messengers shall go before thee. Nevertheless, in the day when I will visit their sin upon them." And Yahuwah plagued the people because they made a calf with Aaron. All right. So let's see something else here. I'm gonna show you this here while we in this book right here. Show y'all something else too. You can go ask somebody about this here when they start talking about this grace. Verse 12, 33 and 12. And Moshe said unto Yahuwah, "See, thou sayest unto me, bring up this people, and thou hast not let me know whom thou wilt send with me. Yet thou hast said, I know thee by name, and thou hast also found grace in my sight." Wait a minute, grace was way back. Moses found grace? Of course he did. "Now therefore I pray thee, if I have found grace in thy sight, show me now thy way, that I may know thee, and that I may find grace in thy sight, and consider that this nation is thy people." So we see that, and we can go down to verse 19 and read that as far as that too, right? Now, but this is what I want to show you. When we look at the word, this is what I'm missing. Hold on a minute. I don't know how I did that. I missed that right there. And I got to figure that out. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm going to ask this thing here. I don't know. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I make a mistake. Okay, that's what it was. It's Exodus 34, but I got to come back up to verse 29. So let's see. I thought I did that. Through 35. That's what I got. Let me see. Am I in Exodus? Oh, I know what it is. Guess what, y'all? I'm in the wrong place. I know I had it right because I make sure I double check these things and double check them. Okay, I'm sorry. Exodus 34. I mean, sometimes I'll be tired too. Exodus, I just made a mistake. 34. Let's go to 32. I knew I had. I'm like, wait a minute now. I'm in the wrong place. 34, 32 through 35. "And afterward, all the children of Israel came nigh, and he gave them in commandment all that Yahweh had spoken with him in Mount Sinai. And till Moses had done speaking with them, he put a veil on his face. But when Moses went in before the Yahweh to speak with him, he took the veil off until he came out. And he came out and spake unto the children of Israel that which he commanded. And the children of Israel saw the face of Moses, that the skin of Moses' face shone, and that Moses put the veil upon his face again until he went in to speak with him," right? So we know the word shone is H number 7160. It's the word charen, to shine, to send out rays, to display or grow horns. Wait a minute, what? Display or grow horns? Okay, but according to the book of the Two Babylons, this is an excellent book, and this right here, I can send it to you in paper form, or however you do it over the internet. I got this. This is one of the books that man, this is one of the. Oh man, I remember when I first got this book here. I mean, it's a real good book. You want to get insight on some of these other gods and these other Elohims. This man, right, Alexander Hislop. This is a must-have. The horn is saying on page 32, the horn is a well-known emblem for power and might. So what was happening to Moses? Look, I mean, after being in Elohim's presence for long periods, he was the humblest and meekest man that ever walked the earth. Numbers 12 and 3. He started going back to the Elohim state. So he started turning into the Elohim, and his body was being filled with strength and power. And this is what we want. One day, if we can get there, when they made covenant with Abraham, how did they show up? Now this is the Elohim. They made a covenant with Abraham. Okay, let's go look at that. Let's go to Genesis. We're going to see this again when we get to the covenants. Genesis 15, 1 through 18. After those things, the word of Yahuwah came to Abraham in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abraham, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. And Abraham said, Yahuwah Elohim, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eleazar of Damascus? Okay, where we at? 7:12. Okay, hold on a minute. We're gonna jump down. Y'all can read this on your own, but I'm gonna show you verse 17. Now, a lot of people never even seen this covenant. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between these pieces, because he had to cut these pieces up, because that was the covenant that was being made. Because remember, he had a little bit of doubt. Well, how do I know that this I mean, what you're saying is going to happen? That's when he told him to take a heifer, a young goat, a turtle dove, a pigeon, right? He started telling him that these animals that he wanted to take and split them in half. But this is what happened. So when the smoking furnace and the burning lamp, when they passed between the pieces, when back in Hebrew culture, if me and somebody made an agreement, and I can show you that in the scripture as well, and we cut these animals and laid them all around, and then me and you walk between those pieces, that's called the walk of blood. What that means is, I'm saying to you that if I break this agreement with you, or if you break the agreement with me, whatever happens to these animals is going to be done to you. And you agree to that. That's what this was. But this was a covenant. And we're going to show you that later, right? But what I'm trying to get you to see is they showed up like the what? The burning lamp and the smoking furnace. Again, fire again. Let's go to Psalms chapter 18 now. Psalms chapter 18. Psalms chapter 18. I'm hoping y'all seeing this. And this last class, ooh-wee, boy. This last leg of this, boy, I'm finna blow it up. I got dynamite, nitroglycerin, C4. I got it all over the place. And I'm finna blow it up. Psalms 18, verse 6 through 15. Make sure I'm in the right place this time. In my distress, I called upon Yahoo and cried unto my Elohim. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him even into his ear. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken, because he was mad. Then went up smoke out of his nostrils and fire out of his mouth. Devouring coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also and came down. So he moved the heavens out the way and come down. Ain't that something? And darkness was under his feet, and he rode upon a cherub and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. We heard that we go again. We just got done reading that. We just got done reading that. He made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark water, thick clouds of the sky. At the brightness that was before him, his thick clouds passed, hailstones and coals of fire. And Yahuwah also thundered in the heavens, and the highest gave his voice, hailstones and coals of fire. Yea, he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and discomfited them. Then the channels of the water were seen, foundations of the world were discovered at thy rebuke, O Yahuwah, at the blast of the breath of thy nostrils. So, to just kind of give you an example, again, it's showing another example of this. Now, in Exodus chapter 19, verse 16 through 18, it says, And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the peoples that was in the camp trembled. And Moshe brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with Elohim, and they stood at their nether part of the mount. And Mount Sinai was altogether on the smoke, because Yahuwah Elohim descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of the furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. So this is when maybe we watch the 10 Commandments, they be like, he with no name is up there tonight. Anyway, and the movies, they a trip too on these movies, but you got to remember, we got to understand who is doing these movies. That's why I don't nobody look like you unless they fanning somebody or carrying something for them. Let me tell you, these people got a lot to pay for. Now, let's get to this light, because we just got done reading something about the light, right? Let there be light. Elohim speaks the word of creation, Genesis 1, which is it actually is a written Torah, which becomes the living Torah, which was the Mashiach, right? Because Elohim spoke the word, gave it to Moshe in a written form. The people couldn't, they're not that they couldn't do it, they wouldn't do it. And guess what? Boom. So he came in the flesh and became the living Torah. The Elohim is the divine source. The Elohim is the divine source. He is light. The spoken word conveys the light frequency of his divine nature. Let's see. Written word, Torah, for our instructions and reminder. That's what it's for, our instruction and reminder. That's why we need to be getting up early before our day starts and finding these things out. Living Torah embodiment for our example. Mashiach came in the flesh, full of grace and truth, to show you the example of living in the Torah. Prayer and fasting is what we need to overcome ourselves. You need to be doing this at least once a month. Faith to walk in instruction, to do the will until death. And some of us might even have to prove this one day. Believe me, it's coming. They done started having dogs to sniff you and see if you got the virus. This thing is crazy. But the crazy part about it is, I mean, you understand, you can see it all coming together. If you got eyes to see. And let's look at this. The written Torah is light. Let's see, Isaiah 8:20. This is very important to understand. So when you go to church on Sunday, you can ask your pastor about this, because this is how you can check him out. To the law and to the testimony. Wait a minute, to the law? Yep, to what? We just got done looking at. To the what? The written Torah, right? And to the testimony. The testimony of the Elohim. The words or the commands of the Elohim. Or I could say to the law, the instruction that was given to Moses, to the testimony that became live and walked around and testified to men about the Father's will. We know as a Mashiach. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. That's Isaiah 8:20. They must speak of the Torah instructions and the testimony of the Mashiach. And we know that we learned that. If you went up there and watched that lesson, the Almighty, you know good and well he teaching you about these commandments. The precepts of Yahuwah are right, bringing joy to the heart. The commandments of Yahuwah are radiant, giving light to the eyes. So we was all in darkness, but here you got this lamp right here, which ain't nothing but the commandments, baby. Now you can see how to get through this dark, wicked world. It's another reason why you need these commandments, right? Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. But you got to keep on this path, right? For with thee is a fountain of life, and thy light shall we see light. And his light, now we can see the light, because he reflects the light from the Father, and he reflects the light to us through the Ruach HaKodesh. Oh, continue thy loving kindness unto them that know thee. What is he trying to say? And thy righteousness to the upright in heart. So let me see, but what do you mean know him? Well, let's go to this word yada. Is the same word that was used when it said Adam knew Eve and she conceived. So it's intimacy. Isn't this not your husband? A wife? Aren't you intimate with your husband? Okay, then it's the same word. So how are we supposed to be intimate with him? By fasting, by praying, by walking in the instruction, by doing the work that he gave you to do. That's how you intimate with him. But it's the same Hebrew word, to know him. This is his nature toward the upright in the mind. It's righteousness. Thy righteousness to the upright in heart. Thy righteousness. This is his nature to the upright in the mind. Proverbs 4:18. But the path of the just, we know what that word is now, is as a shining light that shineth more and more until the perfect day. So if you just, that light that's coming off, you're supposed to get brighter and brighter until the perfect day. What perfect day? When the Mashiach comes back and settles all this stuff and makes the name one. Because remember, we've been talking about that. We've been talking about the unification of the name. All right? Okay, let's keep going. So divine source is light, is Elohim, is the divine source of light. The spoken word equals oral frequencies of light. Living Torah and faith equals a Mashiach. Living Torah is Israel and the stranger. That's who the living Torah is right now, because we got to offer ourselves up as a living sacrifice. Nation to receive light must accept the kingdom. So if the stranger wants to receive this light, he got to come to the conclusion that he got to let that dispensationalism go and come on and follow these instructions. He must accept this light. He must accept these instructions to get into the kingdom. Torah light is perfected. When is the Torah light going to be perfected? In the Father's kingdom. Without this light, you live in cause and effect. So without this light, when the police roll up on you and do stuff to you, you living in cause and effect. I mean, any type of catastrophe, anything that happens, you don't have no shield around you, you don't have no het around you that you behind, you have no protection, you just out here. So whatever happens, happens. Because we just got done reading, what did the Most High say about those that he loves, those that follow his instructions? And when he came in the flesh, he told you the same thing. I can go to writings of Solomon, and he'll tell you, I love those that love me. So what does that mean? He must don't love everybody. Deuteronomy 28:15. We almost there. But I told you this gonna have to go a little bit longer. Deuteronomy 28:15. Have to. Deuteronomy 28:15. Now, this is one we all should remember, especially being Israel. That's the thing. My father used to always say that. See, you ain't got no choice, boy. You got to do this thing. See, you got to do this thing. But anybody else, they can come as they will. I never understood that, but I really do now. Because if Israel don't come to this stuff, then you living in cause and effect. Everybody else, they could be wicked all they want because they part of this. They're heathens. They're really part of. They're just part of the nations that he gonna come back and destroy anyway. We're gonna read that before we get at the end of this thing. You want to read it for yourself? Go to Joel chapter 2 and see what he gonna gather Israel and he gonna tear these nations to pieces, right? But Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahuwah thy Elohim, to observe and do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake you. So if you was running down the street and a pit bull was chasing you, a lion was chasing you, and it overtake you, what does that mean? That means you you got problems. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 33. Verse 1-4. And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of Elohim, blessed the children of Israel before his death. And he said, the sovereign came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints from his right hand, when a fiery law for them. Yea, he loved the people. All his saints are in thy hand, and they sat down at his feet. Everyone shall receive of thy words. Moses commanded us a law, even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. All right. So I said, and sometimes I'm going to repeat things because I know a lot of times when you keep repeating certain things, it's going to get in your mind. Hopefully you got your Bible marked with this, because if you went through the Almighty class, it's easy for you to break down and show the next person that who this was, right? So there don't have to be no doubt. It's not the Father, partner. It's the Elohim. It's all of them together. And one of them left the Elohim and came down here and put on flesh. To the instructions and commands. Now, wait, did I do that? I must have did that one twice. Let me see something, y'all. Yeah, I did. Oh, man. No, this is what I'm after right here. This then is the message which we have heard of him or them, and declare to you that Elohim is like. Remember, Elohim is plural. And I'm gonna show you how to break all that down at this last lesson, right? And in them is no darkness at all. That's 1 John 1:5. We must emulate him to be changed in his likeness. You want to be, as they say, you want to be raptured off, even though there ain't no word in the Bible that's called that. But you want to be changed in the twinkling of an eye, you better start emulating him. The testimony of Yahuwah Elohim. When you keep hearing this word testimony, it's H number 5715. Eduf, a witness, and it's also warnings. So when he puts these testimonies out, he like just like we just got done reading in Proverbs Chapter 9. That was them giving you a warning. Do not refuse this. The testimony of Yahushua is the 10 Commandments because, again, he gave them at Mount Sinai. So we just got done reading. Let's see. Let's go back to Exodus. Well, we know let me see. Let me do that. I don't want to miss out nothing. We got time. We ain't got but another 15 minutes. Exodus 20. Exodus 20 and 6. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. We know in John 14 and 15, he said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. This is how you get the mercy and grace. We just got done showing you how Moses found grace too. We just got done also reading to you about grace. These people keep acting like grace is like all of a sudden showed up with luggage. I'm here. Here's grace now. Like it ain't never been here. It's always been here. I mean, it's different scriptures that we can read that's in Deuteronomy telling you his mercy endures forever. And one of the classes I was in, we used to always, that was something we used to say that whole chapter before we even started class. But his mercy endures to those that's keeping his instructions and walking in them. For the Proverbs 6 and 23, for the commandment is a lamp and the instruction is light, and reproofs of instructions are the way of life. 2 Samuel 22 and 29, for thou art my lamp, O Elohim, and Yahuwah will lighten my darkness. It's just that simple. But you're going to need this light because this light is dark. I mean, this world is dark. We in darkness. Look at all the stuff that's around you. You need this light because it's what you're trying to do. If you put in your mind, you in a dark place. You're trying to get to the kingdom. So that's for you to stay on the right path, you got that lantern in front of you. That's how you're going to get there. Now let's look at this. This is Hebrews chapter 12 and 19 through 26. And the sound of the trumpet and the voice of words, which voice they had that heard entreated that the word should not be spoken to them anymore. They didn't want to hear it anymore. See, all the other people that had these other Elohims and stuff, they just stand there and look at you. But this is why the Most High, small m, or you could say the Elohim, came down on the mountain, and he didn't let them see no similitude or no likeness of him, but he made sure that they heard his voice because he wanted them to know he was not a statue. He is the real thing, or they were the real thing. And to Yahushua, right? Because here's Yahoo is part of the Elohim, and Shah just means the one that came to save, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speaketh better things than that of Abel. Didn't Abel's blood cry to Yahoo, to the Elohim? For they could not endure that which was commanded. And if so much as a beast touched the mountain, it shall be stoned or thrust through with a dart. He told them, get up the next day, purify yourself. Don't let anything come and touch this holy mountain because I'm going to kill it. Either I'm going to kill it or you're going to shoot it through with an arrow or a dart. And so terrible was the sight that Moses said, I will exceedingly fear and quake. So even Moses was scared to death. See that you refuse not him that speaketh. Here we go again. He's telling you, the Ruach just told you, do not refuse. And here, this being that was on these beings and that was on the mountain, see that you refuse not them or him that speaketh, for if they escape not who refuse him that spake on earth, much more shall not we escape if we turn away from him that speaketh from heaven, whose voice then shook the earth. But now he has promised, saying, yet once more, I shake not the earth only, but also the heavens. This ain't nobody but Yahuwah Elohim, who is Yahushua. So this is what you got to keep in mind. It's right here in the New Testament. This is not an Old Testament thing. This is right here in the New Testament showing you this. You got to understand that. So I am the way, the truth, and the life. Torah is the way. Torah is the truth. Torah is life. I can say, I am the way, right? The instructions and the life. The instructions is the way. The instructions are the truth. The instructions give me life. See? Yahusha or Yahshua is the living Torah. We already talked about that. What is the greatest commandment, right? Matthew 22, 36 through 39. Let's go there. A lot more I want to read on this, but I don't run out of time. But I'm going to get in on the next one because I want to show you something. There's something in there I want to show y'all. Matthew 22, 36 through 39. Let's see. And he said, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? And Yahusha said to him, Thou shalt love the sovereign, thy Elohim, with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment, right? Deuteronomy 6 and 5. It's going to say the same thing in John 14, 15 through 24. Let's see, I think another one is Revelation 12 and 17, Psalms 119 and 21. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Okay, so let's look at this because we're gonna wrap this up when we get to this. I think we're gonna go through these last boards. But how do we love the Elohim with all our heart and strength? And how do we love our neighbor, right? Love Yahuwah Elohim with all your heart. Love your neighbor. Look, he confused the little bald head man right here. But how do we love the Elohim with all our heart and strength? And how do we love our neighbor? Well, we know that statutes is a word chokim, right? Which and the judgments are called mishpatim, right? Or mitzvats. Mishpatim or mitzvats. So let's break this down now. Okay, Master, which is the greatest commandment of the law? Matthew 23, 22, 34 through 46. We're going to get to this next time, I promise you. On these two hang all the commandments, all the instructions, and the prophets, because this is what I want to go back through right here the next time. All right, now, we got Yahusha, which is the door. He is the door, right? And this is who we got to go through, because right, the law stops with him because he is the door, right? Here's the law. Okay, the door, because he's the walking Torah. And you have the kingdom on this side of the door. That's what you're trying to do. So you got to go through him to get to this kingdom. And then the law and the prophets, right? Remember, he said, on these two hang all the law and the prophets, right? So the faith in the Messiah is also the key to get through him, because you got to have this key to open his door, the target of the instruction. We must emulate the target to hit the mark ourselves, because we know transgression of the law is missing the mark. But with him, we can hit the mark because he came to show us how to do it. He gave the instructions and he walked it. Now, let's look at this. So what you got to kind of look at is this, because here is the same thing he just got done quoting in Deuteronomy 6, 1 through 6, and Leviticus 19 and 18. Let's go to Deuteronomy 6. Let me show y'all this. These people keep pretending like this is like brand new. But to see, the door hinge is the law and the prophets. Now, if you look at your door while I'm talking to you, if them hinges wasn't on that door, then the door wouldn't be intact. And if somebody closed that door and shut it without the hinges, you can't open the door to get through it. So you got to have the law and the prophets. So when he says on these two commands, hang all the law and the prophets, the word hang is 29:10. It depends. It's the strength of the door. See, it depends on that. The law and the prophets, the hinge depends on the door as well. You understand? See, on these two commandments the commandments, which is the walking commandments, hangs the law and the prophets. But this is why they tell you, don't worry about keeping the commandments and they keep you out the Old Testament. Oh, that's done away with. You just stay in this new part of the book. They know this. That's why they keep you in the new part of the book and not even invented a doctrine and you following that wholeheartedly. And you don't know nothing about the prophets. You don't know nothing that's being said. How can you get salvation like that? It's impossible. Now watch this here. So the word kremanu Numi, right? And I got this from Thayer's Greek lexicon. And if you don't have one of these, when you go to the blue letters, scroll all the way down, and you can find this at the bottom. B, use of the law and the prophets is summed up or hanging on to precepts. We already learned what precepts is, right? In other words, teaching of the Old Testament morality equals judgments. Remember this word. Summed up in two precepts, two commands. Summed up, a precept is a command, summed up in two precepts. The Encyclopedia International Standard Bible Encyclopedia, precept. What is a precept? Precept, a commandment, an authoritative rule for action. And the scriptures generally a divine injunction in which man's obligation is set forth. Wait a minute, what? So he's trying to tell you when you say precept upon precept, that's how line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. That's how you got to understand this book. You can't just stay in the New Testament. How you going to go here a little, and there a little? You just in the New Testament. And you got to have the law and the prophet, because that's how you're going to go here a little and there a little, like we've been doing. You got to go front and back, front and back. Like my father just said, you can't, baby, you got to have a book. How can you learn something with a half a book? That's why you confused. And I used to get so mad at him. But you know what? All these years later, he was right. I promise you, I wish he was alive right now. Ooh, we could be doing some stuff together. Now, so then, the strength of the New Testament is the law and the prophets. How can you say that, Saul? Because when you start learning, really understanding what's going on in the law and the prophets, when you come to the New Testament, it's all over the place. But without the Old Testament, there would be no strength in these letters, because Paul couldn't teach you anything. So he has to go back to the source of strength. And the prophets through faith in HaMashiach, and the teacher, the Ruach, we learn how to offer up our mind and body to the Father to be used for his will. It's that simple. I don't even know how I can break down these two laws anymore. I done broke this fraction down to the smallest compound, as they used to say. It can't get no lower than that. Now let's look and see what mishpatim are. Because, they're making it like it's so wicked. Well, you can't do that. Really? The word judgment is a word mishpatim, and they're action words. So what do you see out of this? Visiting the sick and shut in, right? How to treat others, kind gestures, right? And these are the instructions that's given to, if you want to be part of his bride, you better be trying to find these out. Caring for widows and orphans, helping the elderly, feeding the poor. You go ride by this old lady's house and the grass high. Okay, go knock on the door. Step back out the porch so she can see you, because she probably scared to death. I don't blame her. And say, ma'am, look, I don't want nothing from you. I'm gonna go get my lawnmower and come and cut your grass. What's wrong with that? Setting someone in prison to word, which is gonna be real hard, because I know last time, well, it's almost impossible to do that anymore. Doing the work is doing good works too. And this is part, like I say, this is part of your reasonable service. But let's go look at Matthew chapter 25 and 31. Now this is what judgments mean. And you telling me that, I already showed you already that Christ is not the end of these judgments and these precepts, right? But you telling me that this is done away with, and you a Christian? Okay. Right now, boy, you gotta listen to this last scripture I'm finna read you, and then we're gonna go ahead and get into these 7 spirits. I'm trying to get down with this. Man, I got so much more I want to give y'all, but I'm gonna cut it. We're gonna get that. I promise you. I'm gonna have to take some of this stuff out, but I think by now y'all should have adjusted this. Matthew 25, verse 31 through 46. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy set apart messengers with him, and shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all the nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goat. So, I mean, you're going to be a sheep or you're going to be a goat. You can go to Revelation chapter 14 and 15, 1 Thessalonians, and 2 Thessalonians going to kind of give you kind of some similar information. And he shall set the sheep, Micah chapter 4:2, and he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on his left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye, blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. How can he say that? That means from the foundation of the world, if you in this class, you was already chosen to be in this class. You just got to keep doing the things you can to keep eating this word. Job 19 and 25, Revelation 21, right? Psalms chapter 15. For I was hungry and you gave me meat. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you took me in. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, What? The righteous? We know what the word righteous means. Here we go. I keep telling you, I'm trying to get y'all ready. So y'all hit this New Testament. You already know what this word means. We done said it like I don't know how many times over these 6 lessons. Saying, Sovereign, when saw we thee and hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we the sick, or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, and as much as you have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, you have done it unto me. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, you cursed, of everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. What does he mean by that? We're going to show you that when we get to House of Time, because that's what it was really made for, because of these Nephilim spirits. For I was hungry and you gave me not meat. Right? You pull up, get off the intersection, they sitting there with their hand out. You in a brand new Mercedes with all the whistles and bells. You got all your little clothes on, you sharp, you smelling good, purse full of money, and you sit there at the light like you don't see him. Okay. For I was hungry and you gave me no meat. I was thirsty and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger and you took me not in, naked and you clothed me not, sick and in prison and you visited me not. Then shall they also answer him, saying, Sovereign, when saw we thee a hunger or a thirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister to thee? Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, as much as you did it not to one of the least of these, you did it not to me. And these shall go away in everlasting punishment, but the righteous into eternal life. Think about that. It's on you. I already told you, you come up here, I'm finna give it to you. I don't care if you come back or not. I want you to come back, but if you don't, guess what? Oh, well. So with that being said, I'm hoping y'all got something out of this class. I know it was a 2-hour class, but I have to do that. I'm going to do the next one 2 hours too, to go ahead and kill this thing once and for all. Well, y'all know what I mean, to go ahead and get through this class. But we're gonna go through the spirits. We're gonna show you what this manure is all about. This the candlestick. You might not, maybe y'all probably didn't know. So we're gonna go through a lot. We're gonna look at these 7 spirits that stand before him, and we're gonna look at you, your job, the man. Yeah, we're gonna look at all that, and we're gonna show you. Like I said, we're gonna show you some other things, and I think it's gonna be pretty good. We got a lot more to give you. We're going to get through it. And this one might take a little longer. It might be 2.5. I don't know, but I'm going to finish this one. It's going to be all over. So, again, with that being said, I thank you for your time. I thank you for coming. And I pray that Yahuwah bless you, that he watch out for y'all, and that he shine his face on y'all and y'all family. Thank you, Yahuwah, for this class. Thank you for letting me be able to be one of your instruments to try to help somebody learn about you, your greatness, your goodness, your mercy. All right, y'all. I'm out. Shalom, shalom.